It's a beastly night on the island. Survivor Season 50, Episode 10. It's the recap show, and it's live. The Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. We start right now. All right, let's break it down, Boy Green. A lot to get into on this episode. Let's start.
Whoa, hey, my pizza guy. What's going on?
Will woke up with a crab right on his chest. It was so funny. We caught it and ate it.
I'd give a flying hoops a minute if your hand.
And another attempt to blow up the game. More celebrity items here as we finally got our MrBeast showing in episode 10 of season 50 of Survivor. Talk all about it. How interesting was it? Anybody up for a coin flip right now to see who's out next? Good grief. It's the Manchild, Jim Lurch, along with Paul Esden Jr. as we talk Survivor. We are presented by our friends at Northeast Roofing Professionals. And joining us for every Survivor recap show, sans last week, because he did have laryngitis. And his voice still not tip-top, as they say. But he's going to give it a go, nonetheless. Tonight, let's welcome in the one, the only, the former Survivor, the Boston Cop, Mr. Bret LaBelle. How are you, Bret? Good evening. Bret just frozen in time.
Yes.
He's just frozen in time.
Or, he just wasn't revved up by, wait, I think we got him back, maybe? Nope. Nope.
We see movement. He's got movement now. He's got movement.
Okay. Yeah. Bret, can you hear us? Okay. All right, Bret, we'll try to kick you out and see if you can come back in. We'll work on that behind the scenes and technical difficulties here on the show. Not sure what's going on, but again, that was very briefly former Survivor castaway Bret LaBelle from season 33, Millennials versus Gen X, who normally joins us every week on the show. Again, we do recap shows every single week, folks. So hopefully some of you have been tuning in all season long. If not, no worries. You could jump on the train right now, baby, for all your Survivor recap needs. And there is a lot to get to, Lurch. Survivor Auction, which I'm a nostalgia freak. I love that. MrBeast, who I'm going to be honest, Lurch, we could talk about this while we're waiting for Bret. I know of MrBeast because it's hard not to. Like, Jeff Probst, I don't think was just waxing poetic about MrBeast. I think it's true that he is the most popular YouTuber in history with all his numbers and everything. But it's not a show or genre or brand or anything that I normally dip my toes into. The only thing I saw, and it was because I knew he was coming on Survivor, so I said, let me just dabble in whatever this MrBeast Games thing is. And I've heard a little bit about him through that. But besides that, I didn't know who MrBeast was outside of knowing that he's super famous.
Yeah, and one of the things about him, just in seeing him in this environment, because I have seen his videos, is he's kind of a humble guy. Like, he's very kind of chill and just kind of, okay, appreciate that. Didn't even know if you guys would know me.
Yeah, he did say that.
You got a few billion views. I mean, I think a lot of people in the world do indeed know you. And he's, if you don't know a lot about him, I mean, he's one of the things he's famous for is he does these incredibly complex, call them challenges. All right. And then they play out, literally on the YouTube channel. And, some of them are fascinating. And sometimes there's money involved and there's all kinds of crazy things. So it's very cool. It's very gimmicky. And obviously it gets a lot of views. People are really, really into it. So.
Also, I didn't even know that his name was Jimmy. So now we're on a personal date.
I did not know that either. But when we did find out, so that was like the big unveiling tonight, right? Is that MrBeast's first name is Jimmy.
His whole name.
His name's Jimmy.
Yeah,
I like it.
There you go. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have the same net worth. Jimmy Donaldson is his real name, apparently. But I kept hearing it under someone's breath, whether Jeff was calling him it or someone off camera was saying it, and I just kept hearing Jimmy. I'm like, who is Jimmy? I'm like, oh, MrBeast is Jimmy. I'm like, okay, I didn't know that. So there you have it. I think
Seinfeld.
Yeah, I think we have Bret LaBelle back. Bret, can you hear us?
He's over there.
I can hear you. It's a little splotchy
but I can hear you.
Okay. So
Okay, so here's what we're going to do, Lurch. So we're going to call an audible at the line of scrimmage here. So, Brett, we're going to have you on. We can hear you as well, but there's a massive delay. So what we'll try to do is not interrupt you. So when we ask you a question, we'll give you your proper time to receive the light hitting the sound of the universe and then coming back to you and let you answer it. We'll try not to interrupt you at all. And I think that's a way that we can pull this off. So, Brett, we'll start off with what we were just talking about with Lurch before you came on. Did you have any idea who the hell MrBeast was before you heard he was on the episode tonight or in the previews before the season?
I had no idea who MrBeast was. I'd never heard of him before. That's why to me it was kind of ridiculous. And then I said, "This is MrBeast. This is more like Mr. Librarian than MrBeast. Who's this guy and how did he get that name?" But I mean, he did seem like a guy I'd like a beer with. He seemed like a cool dude.
Definitely.
But I just don't. It's a beast to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and I would say this on the again, I guess with really all the celebrity involvement, we almost have to have this conversation. One of the things I find very sacred, and I'm sure Brett feels the same way, and Lurch, you can feel free to chime in. Tribal Council is sacred. It is sacred in nature by the set. It is sacred in nature by the flames. It's sacred in nature by the nature of it, the stars, the atmosphere, the jury. Like, it is very intimate. It's very inside baseball, very inside Survivor, all of it, and the special aura and spirit and energies that are flowing around Tribal. I was a little thrown off. I mean, I knew with how they described it, he had to have been at Tribal Council because of how they teased it earlier in the episode. That's the one part that again, I thought we'll get into what we thought, I guess, of the twist itself. But him being there did feel a little out of place for me. Normally, I could suspend my disbelief at the door for a movie or anything. I'm like, hey, whatever's about to happen is going to be crazy. That's something that threw me off a little bit. I'm going to be honest, because again, I hold Survivor and Tribal Council in such a sacred territory that when this sort of goofy, gimmicky thing is entering the game, it does give me a little bit of the heebie-jeebies.
And I don't think, I mean, for anything I can recall, I don't ever recall a stranger ever being at Tribal, like being there. You know, I mean, I know he didn't stay for the votes and the elimination, but he was, on the premises at Tribal. I don't think we've ever seen that in Survivor history, at least not that I can remember in the 49 other seasons. I don't ever recall anybody literally sitting with Jeff at Tribal, something going on. In this case, this super beware advantage, which we'll get into. But that was highly, highly unusual to say the least. I have a suggestion, BG. I mean, this is my suggestion because we're definitely having major internet issues with Brett, is maybe text him and see if he can come in on his phone. Sometimes a phone will work better. Phone will work better than, you're just getting lousy internet at your house. Brett is home tonight. We usually don't have any problems with him, but maybe he can come through on his phone. And even though we'll have the little skinny kind of video for folks here,
better than nothing, right?
Right. We'll be able to actually converse with them because this is going to get a little too wild and a little too interruptive if we can't figure out a way to work around the technology. All right. While you're reaching out to Brett, I mean, I'll throw some things on the table here. Fascinating night. First of all, Stephanie gets eliminated. So we always kind of start at the end and work our way back. And, it was interesting because it was like she kind of, in a way, got thrown under the bus. I mean, she got on board with the plan to go get, Ozzy, which I don't think was an awful plan, in all honesty. But again, people keep leaking information back to Cirie, and then Cirie just takes over and starts maneuvering. And the next thing Stephanie is out. So not surprised by that. She even used her steal a vote, and it didn't even avoid her from being out. So.
Well, two things here. I would say, so Stephanie and Rizzo, I would have said the same thing if I was Rizzo with how she set it up of saying, hey, I never throw names out. And Rizzo's like, come on, everyone throws name out. Don't try to be holier than thou that you don't do it. And she went like, well, I don't drive the bus. Like, to me, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't claim that you never drive the bus, but you're on the bus. And then, oh my God, that wasn't my idea. That was Jonathan's idea. Who you were on the bus for. So to me, you can't have it both ways. So Stephanie, unfortunately, you either have to drive the bus or be a willing passenger on the bus. Those are your only two choices. So to refuse to drive it, and then when it's inconvenient, refuse to be a passenger, I think she did nothing but screw herself in that particular situation. Good for her to use a steal vote. Wouldn't you, even though it didn't make any difference, but I wouldn't have wanted to bring that home. Like, you pull out all the ammunition, all the weapons you have in the arsenal to give yourself a better shot for sure.
And you know what Steph should have done here? I mean, I'll get into this a little bit. I thought she was maybe going to. It looks like we've reestablished her pretty. I thought what Steph should have done is she should have been the one person. It just seemed like nobody else was going to stand up. Since she was clearly at play and kind of had an idea that she might have been at play, especially after that conversation with Serena.
Shot in the dark?
Thing was to not agree to let Rick flip the coin and to do it herself, to say, no, I want to be considered for the coin, and maybe even try to get it swung over to her, where she gets a chance to earn the extra $1 million. She gets immunity for another week, and all of a sudden, now I understand you're risking elimination, but as we saw, she was on the table. So if you're on the table, why don't you get off? That was a very smart play by Rick. He knew he was on the plate, and he just said, hey, I was meant for this. But I don't know what would have happened, because it might have gotten to that point where it might have been rocks, because if she stood her ground, and
Devin says, I want to be, then I guess it's rocks.
It would have been rocks, but I might have, if I was Steph tonight, I might have played it to that point. I might have gone that far with it. So just a consideration. Brett, what do you think about all that? I know you unpacking it all here.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
we got you immediately. We got you back.
Sometimes the phone just works better.
Yeah, there you go. Great call.
Okay. I don't know why that wasn't jiving, but I mean, I don't know. I love that Rick Devin said, you know what? He saw he was at the bottom of the pack. He needed something to mix up his game, and he went for it. And I liked. I just thought the whole hoopla and the rigmarole, I just was stupid,
Hey, let's highlight some comments here. So Fuqua Johnson says, everybody pretended they know Mr. Beast. I'm not going to pretend. I don't know who the hell he is outside of, like, if someone played some Jeopardy game and says, hey, is Mr. Beast a real person? I'd say yes, because I knew of him, but I didn't know anything about him. And the only research, like I said, I did is on Amazon Prime or something, is Mr. Beast Games, which I had never heard of. I just knew it was a thing. So I said, let me familiarize myself somewhat with whoever the hell this guy is. It's going to be on, like, one of my favorite shows, Survivor. And I watched a few episodes. I wasn't very interested, and I bailed. So no, I'm not pretending. I have no idea. Brett says he really had no idea. And Lurch, what's your history of him? Or
my history is just that, you remember the guy, remember my brother-in-law who helped set up our whole YouTube world and was helping with various things? Well, he's a YouTube nut. And he said, you ought to do what Mr. Beast does. And I was like, who's Mr. Beast? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like the most famous YouTuber in the world. I was like, well, welcome to my new world. So then he showed me some videos. So I'm not like I'm a regular viewer of him, but I know who he is. And I kind of know, pieces of his spiel. But he's been out there for a while. Obviously, he's built an incredible following. So he's a monster in the viral world, and in particular in the YouTube world.
So let's get to the jugular.
He didn't amass me as a follower, I'll tell you that. Wow. Mr. Librarian. I'm going to call him Mr. Librarian because he doesn't. I mean, that's the last thing I saw was a beast. Like when someone says you're Mr. Beast, I see like Hulk Hogan come through, rip his shirt off.
Sure, yeah.
Not a guy walking in with a briefcase, talking. I don't know, whatever. Anyway,
which I appreciate, by the way. Great American flag shirt there.
Well, thank you. Yes. Well, this is the 250th anniversary of our country. So what the hell? I'm gonna be patriotic this year.
So are you about to pull Hulk Hogan, or you're about to rip that off right now?
I am. I might. You never know.
Okay.
You never know.
I'll keep that in mind. We'll get another comment in here because, let's get to the elephant in the room, the actual Mr. Beast Super Beware Advantage. And we'll go to Gator McCluskey here, who, again, is responsible for this beautiful beach we're currently sitting on here virtually. So thank you, Gator McCluskey, for everything you do for the show. I give the twist an A++. Brilliant twist for 50. Love seeing what may have been a straightforward Devins vote turn into a memorable 50-50 game-changing moment, all-timer tonight. And for those who don't know, I'll give you the quick run-through of what the Mr. Beast Super Beware Advantage was, which we found out ultimately what it was at Tribal Council. There was a gold coin inside the briefcase. Essentially, it boils down to heads or tails. Heads was his Mr. Beast logo. Tails were a bunch of torches. A castaway, and he could be selected by any means, according to them, whether it was voluntary or on their own accord. One person would be selected to flip the coin. If they call it right, either heads or tails, either way they would have called it, they win their safety for that night. they win a hidden immunity idol, and the prize money for Survivor doubles. So for those who don't know, Survivor's prize money has always been $1 million, and there's occasionally been it's worth more. Season 40 Winners at War was double the money. So like sometimes there's been unique circumstances, but 99% of the time it's been $1 million. So that would double it, so everyone sort of benefits. But if you call it incorrectly, call heads and it's tails, you're out immediately, and the tribal council's over because someone has been eliminated. Obviously, if someone called it correctly, someone would also be eliminated, but not that person in the challenge. So let's go around the horn here and see what you guys thought of it. Putting Mr. aside and just the idea itself, we'll go to you first, Bret. Were you a fan of this twist or not?
I don't know. I like that Devin's got another shot. I like that he was so ballsy with going after it. So I did kind of like that aspect of it. I don't know. The MrBeast thing, it just didn't do anything for me.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Larch, were you a fan of this twist? Yes or no?
I thought it was interesting. I guess I'd have to be. I'm not like yeah, it was great, but I'm definitely on the it was cool, side. So I'm like, I'm not in the middle. I'm towards the pro side of this. Listen, they've made a commitment this season to, wrap in some celebrity stuff. I thought the Zach Brown thing was really cool. This is kind of MrBeast sticking to his game, staying in his lane. I was good with it. I was just, what was getting me a little bit during the episode was that this is all going to be unveiled at Tribal, and it was so cryptic the way they just walked him in. He showed the briefcase, flipped it around during the auction, or at the end of the auction, and then said, yeah, we'll see you tonight. I was like, what's he doing tonight? What the heck is even happening here? So I guess they were trying to, again, hook us in, but it was, to me, it was just left me wondering. It distracted me from the rest of the episode because I was just like, what's going to happen? But Jeff said it well in Tribal. Or the fact that they did it that way seemed to have set the tribe into chaos, which I guess is probably what they were trying to do. So win-win across the board. More chaos, better for viewership, better for everything, more unexpected happens. So that's why I think I'm on the pro side.
Well, I mean, just to add to it, I think the coin flip I'm cool with. I think it was just we're having an auction. Then it's a MrBeast. Then we're going right into a challenge. And it just kind of annoyed me. It was just like, come on, enough's enough.
Like the progression of things. Okay.
Which I can understand from Bret's perspective, right? He's a castaway. He knows the routine of how those things normally go. Yep. We only knew it was a surprise because that's how Jeff dressed it up, saying, hey, we're immediately going for the auction, which we'll get into, immediately to an immunity challenge, immediately to this, immediately to this. And so, we wouldn't have known that otherwise because, we're not on the island. We don't know the editing. It goes on behind the scenes. I'll just say for me, I was on the edge of my seat in an eerie way. Like there was a fear. There's like, oh my God, what is this going to mean? Because we were all invested, and we'll highlight the fantasy board in a little bit here where we have skin in the game on these people. And oh my goodness, could a twist be the reason that someone is who I thought was safe heading in randomly is in the line of fire? And I'm like, oh boy, what is this going to be? So I thought it added some drama. I thought this was clearly built for Devins, who likes to play on the edge. He perfectly gets that love letter, which we could also get into later, where his family's like, you know what, have fun out there. And this is the ultimate have fun. He has a special relationship with his kid and watching MrBeast. So he knew, hey, whether this goes great or bad, I'm going to forever be connected to this MrBeast advantage. So that's a cool thing. And obviously gives him new life. Safe tonight, where he was clearly in danger. A hidden immunity idol to see what he does. Maybe just uses it immediately the next one and it's back in the game. Who knows what happens? And obviously the prize money gets doubled. That's great for everybody. So I was a big fan of the twist. Yeah.
I'll just jump in on this one just real quick. We know these players. Mm-hmm. These players should know each other. Mm-hmm. All right. We know what Rick Devins is, okay? He is what he is. He's not changing. He is what he is. He's a conniver. He's sneaky. He's the idol master. He's the trickster. He's the pull the rug out from underneath you guy. And I guess I understand they were in a catch-22. They needed his vote if they were going to do the big move. But once you let an idiot like that in on the plan, you have the potential that when you get to Tribal, he's just going to blow you up. And that's exactly what he did to Stephanie and to a certain degree to Jonathan and to a certain degree. Like he just blew up those people. And now those people who are trying to find their way in may end up he may end up blowing up their games. And now the radar will come off Devins, who, by the way, has at least one more week of survival. I don't even think he's going to get votes next week, if I'm to guess, just the way that this is playing out right now. I think all of a sudden the target's going to now be Jonathan and these other people, and they're going to leave those people in the middle that should have been gone weeks ago. They're going to leave them there. Brett, what do you think?
I think Jonathan's in trouble. I think Jonathan's in real trouble.
Yeah, he's in big trouble, yes.
Yeah,
it feels like it. All right, let's get some auction in here. I am a nostalgic Survivor nerd. I love the auction. I don't know. There's something about you guys and gals, Brett, starving for weeks on end, and then finally an auction, and you get 500 US American dollars. And some people will hold that because they need an oil change or some car work at home. Some people will decide to use it because they need food or drink. And
that was making me
covered
angry.
items, uncovered items. Like, I don't know. I love the auction. I've always loved the auction. So when it's back, MrBeast or not, to me, that's super cool. So I really love to. We could get into the rules of how they did it, but just on the surface level, the auction. I love the auction.
Yeah, I love the auction too, and it annoys me when people save the money. It's like, come on, that's not life-changing money. Go
Right.
get something to eat, get yourself back in the game, and go win that life-changing money. Food is so important out there. If you can get some food, and it can help your mind, it can help you think correctly, and so to sit there and there was definitely one person who was wanting to take the money home. It's ridiculous. Go get some food. Get your mind wrapped in the game and go finish it off and take home now $2 million.
Brett, can you give us the insight? What's the food that matters and the food that doesn't, right? Because we're at home and I'm like, ooh, this, ooh, that. But like, I'm on the couch. I can probably get anything that they have from my home. But like, when you're on the island, you're starving to death. I'm sure anything looks attractive. But like, you being out there, what is the food that actually you would want to bid on that's both delicious and nutritious? And the other food that's just going to give you an adrenaline rush very temporarily, but then you're going to crash hard, or it's going to make your stomach upset, or what have you.
That sounded like a Kellogg's commercial.
Delicious and nutritious. I feel like it's a commercial. I was thinking the same thing. It's delicious and nutritious.
So the onion rings and fries, forget about it. That was not. I would not be going
That's
for that.
not going down well.
Yeah, Devin,
No,
sorry.
no. The 2 chicken wings. The 2 chicken breasts. That's what you want. Anything protein. It's just when you're in a starving. When you start to starve, but this is what I found. Your body seems to break down like meat, protein much better. And it just, when you start throwing fries in there, all that grease and everything, it's going to do numbers on your stomach, and it's just going to be miserable for you out there.
So the Rizzo item was probably among the best. I saw that the 2 chicken breasts was like, yes.
Two chicken breast, a protein shake, and then like some sort of a arugula salad or something. So.
I would never go on for that milkshake either. That was a total mistake.
That didn't seem good at all. Let's get into the gross stuff. I see Gator McCluskey bringing it up. I have to close my eyes when they eat gross stuff or I'll throw up. So, let's explain the overall theme. So they did this differently. So everyone starts with $500. So that's very common. They've always done that sort of thing. But Jeff Probst explained at the beginning that there is comfort, chaos, or both. Basically, something good can happen, some bad can happen, or both can happen, that you think it's good, but then it ends up having a bad. And we'll mix this in with the gross stuff that Gator was bringing up. So Jonathan and Ozzy, they have to do a good thing and a bad thing. One of them does a good thing, one of them does a bad thing. The bad thing was eating a cooked sea slug. And I was seeing some other Survivor players from yesteryear explain how different it is eating it raw versus cooked, and the differences apparently, which is apparently a lot more detailed than I wanted. But thank you very much to Jonathan Penner and the other Survivor players who are explaining that. But he had to eat that, and he took one bite, and Jeff went, that ain't going to go down easy. And you're just hearing the squeamish sounds, and then you're hearing him gag. And if I'm over there, I'm like, I hear other people gag. I'm like, oh boy. So,
that was not a good crunchy. That wasn't like Doritos. That was a nasty sounding crunchy. And then you imagine that hard stuff trying to get it down your throat, especially when you haven't eaten a lot. Tell us about this, Brett. Is this?
Yeah, right. So there was 2 things here. So we'll just mix all the bad things in together. Aubrey had to eat grubs, and then obviously Jonathan had to eat a cooked sea slug. So tell us about the disgusting stuff, Brett.
Aubrey.
Well, the slug, she did it right. Right, she wolfed those down. You got to do it as fast as possible. You can't think about it. You're just gonna go with it. Jonathan, the sea slug. We had sea slugs out there. We cooked them up, thinking that we were gonna eat them, because we were starving, and they were just horrible. They were horrible. We couldn't do it. I think I got a couple bites down. I was like, no, can't do it. So those are just. I was shocked. I was impressed with how fast he got those down because there's no way I would have been able to do that with those. The Aubrey's the two, whatever she had, those.
Yeah, what are they? I have it
Yeah,
written down
I mean,
here.
those-
Grubs.
The
Yeah.
grubs, you just gotta go for it, and you gotta eat them as fast as you can.
Were you guys a fan of this? They removed this. So again, the auction hasn't been on every year anymore. So it's been on in waves where it would come and disappear, come and disappear. And when it came back before, there was the risk of they made it a little more complicated. The board that if you kept your money for a certain amount of time and whoever had the most money at the end got punished, so they could lose their vote. So you have to try to you could spend all your money, but it could put you in a bad spot. So there's sort of a complicated layer the last time they did the auction. That was all removed this time. So there was no risk of losing your vote. Do you guys like that part of it getting tossed from the auction? They try different things. Lurch?
Go ahead, Brett, go first.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I understand why now. They had so much other stuff coming at them after. So, yeah, I was fine with it.
Lurch?
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement too. Again, when one of the things we've always talked about over the years that we've done this together is just when things get a little too crazy and a little too gimmicky. So I didn't find that to be that way. So I can live with that. That was good.
By the way, disgusting. I'm not sure how many of you guys have been able to do this in your lives. I haven't. Cherie with the old puke and rally strategy.
Yeah,
she
wow.
was getting sick. So Stephanie's like, "Hey, I'll buy whatever remaining food she has on her plate." Jeff's like, "That's not how this works." And Cherie goes and it says, "I'll be right back." She goes and throws up in the corner and then comes back and finishes the rest of her food, which sends Jeff laughing and me gagging at home. That was disgusting. Because how is that throw up taste not still in your mouth? Not to get too vivid here late at night, but ugh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, but you're starving out there. I would go back and eat more too. I totally would go back and eat more.
You would, huh?
Yeah.
Did you ever do that on the island? Throw up and then
no, I never did. I never threw up. I ate everything.
Okay. All right, let's go to the end here. Loved one letters. That gets in at the end. Now, we've seen some cruel stuff over the years where Survivor, there may be 10 castaways left. Only 5 of you get love letters. 5 of you don't. And then the camera shots of the devastation of 5 people who don't and the 5 people who do. Now, they didn't know the loved one letters was underneath this covered tray. So they said, you all have to give up $20, which is relatively, insignificant. They start with $500. As long as everyone commits and gives $20, they're able to get this. Everyone got love letters. At first, I thought this MrBeast super advantage would take away some of the loved ones letters, and I'm like, oh, that's terrible. But they didn't. Everyone ended up getting those. Again, also going around the horn here. Do you like it when some people get them and some people don't? Because it does create a little drama on the show if I'm being a little devious. But on the other side, I loved all the emotional moments because we're so invested. These aren't random people. This isn't, with all due respect, like Survivor 46, random people on the island we've never heard from before. These are all people we're invested in. So to me, when they were plucking the emotional heartstrings about hearing about their kids and their wife, I was all in because I already love these characters already because that's been predetermined by previous Survivor seasons. So I was cool with everyone getting their love letters. Were you guys?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think it's season 50. They've all been out there before. I think it deserves a little bit of maybe a little something extra than everyone else. So I was absolutely fine with it, and I agree. I do enjoy watching those. It brought me back to reading mine and a letter from my mother, a letter from your father, and your siblings. It was pretty cool.
It's quite emotional, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
No, go ahead, Brett. Finish up.
No, it just makes you. It definitely chokes you up a little bit,
And I would say, just going back to what you talk about, BG, that basically I really didn't like it when they were doing this love letter deprivation. I'd rather they just say it's a reward, and then when the reward, then give it over to the people and not have the others suffer or the choosing. Well, you could pick 2 more people who could come with you and they'll get letters too. Come on. You talk about putting somebody in a terrible position. They might have great alliances, and now they got to choose, and they're thinking strategy, and they're thinking who I do have. Now they're being exposed to the rest of the group. I just didn't like what it brought to the table because I think one of the things that the letters does, and everybody said it to a man and woman tonight on the show, it gives them fuel. And we want to see these players playing. We want to see them fully fueled. We don't want to see them tired and haggard and giving up. We want to see them fighting to the end. And so it's nice when you get that energization. So I think they should make that a permanent thing where, if they're doing letters, everybody that's left gets one. You get to a point where you earn the letters, and I just think that should be part of advancing in the game. I think when the game first started, they kind of did it that way, and then they got into this little tricky thing, and then they came back this one and gave it to everybody.
And the memories are rushing back to my head because there's been ones where you do an auction and all the way at the end, they said anyone who has $500 can buy your letters. But of course, during the auction, people would spend $20, $40, whatever on food, and then they don't have enough money for the auction. So I've heard that. We've had twists where if you buy the letters, you can't get it, but everyone else can. And then you're like, oh, geez. So they have done some cruel stuff.
That's some cruel things, yeah.
And to clarify for Gator, yes. So Rick, by flipping
this is what Mr.
Beast,
I understand he was risking immunity, but risking getting eliminated. But
so he did receive 2 immunities. He was immune tonight, so he couldn't be voted out, and he got handed a hidden immunity idol. So it sounds like, Lurch, you believe that the reward was too strong. The pluses were too strong for the risk of the reward. Go ahead.
Here's what I would have liked. Okay, all right. I understand Devins is risking his life. Okay,
right.
On a coin flip, okay, but again, he wanted it, and he knew that his head was on the table potentially, okay? So he's in a desperate shot, desperate times call for desperate measures. All right, so I don't mind that. Okay, it's a 50-50 chance. You could get knocked out of this game. Okay, he wins. Give him the immunity idol. Sure, I'm down with that. Okay, you're not out, and hey, here's your reward, an immunity idol. Now the vote's still on. Okay, so if Devin still thinks his head's on the chopping block, he plays that immunity idol that night. He doesn't get to get immunity tonight and, take this prize home and you get at least another tribal council, which is theoretically what he's going to get. It was like, as Gator's saying, double immunity. I didn't like it.
Well, here's the thing, right? It can't just be a shot in the dark. Mr. B Super Advantage has to be something different. If you get shot in the dark, you get it right, you're safe. So that is your immunity, right? To your point of only getting 1 immunity, you're basically dressing it up as shot in the dark. And to me, I feel like if this is going to be proposed as like this massive advantage, then you have to get more than a shot in the dark, which again, basically it does, because he gets double immunity and the prize pack doubles for everybody. So I don't think you could do it your way, because again, that is shot in the dark.
No, it wouldn't be shot because the coin flip is shot in the dark. Okay. You're in or you're out. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now he's in.
Yeah, but he was already in.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, in or out of what?
No, Lurch is right. The coin flip, if he didn't get the coin flip right, he was out. So that is the
this is the shot in the dark.
Shot in the dark.
Yeah, but the shot in the dark isn't you're out. It just you lose your vote that night. You're not voted out of the game immediately. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of following. Okay.
But you're playing it because you're playing the shot in the dark because you think you're going home.
Yes. Yes.
So
right.
But here's the other thing though is you're getting you not only you're getting free through the vote tonight, you're also getting an immunity idol, which is definitely changes things up a little bit, especially for Devins.
And I don't know how long this lasts because the game's the game and everyone wants to win $2 million. But Rick Devins to the tribe right now is a bit of a hero because he risked his life to add $1 million. So he's a good guy right now. Everybody kind of likes Rick at the moment until he does the next screwy thing. So he's just kind of back in, so he gets the in, he doesn't get eliminated and he goes, home with an idol in his pocket. Ugh.
But since we're talking about Devins, so Devins did the whole thing where earlier in the season he planted the idol, quote unquote, at Tribal Council, and then whenever the moment strikes, he's going to do it. And he flips a few rocks, he grabs it, it's dramatic. Whoa, does he have it? Does he not? And then he saves himself that night. He says, "Hey, I'll just let you know the next time 100% I'm playing this." So people assume he is. He didn't again. And then they're like, "Is this real? Is this not?" And Devins, explains it to us in confessional that he ends up making it a big joke. Says it was the pocket square advantage and it was just fugazi. It was fake. I made it all up. He decided to do that. Was that the right call? Because everyone already thinks Devins is a gamer. Now he basically admits that I did this whole scheme of planting it there to fool all you guys. And it just seems like you're making your threat level larger. Like I would have just held on to this idol that some people think is real. Some people don't think is real. Leave the mystery up to them. I don't have to give away free information. Just pretend it's whatever they perceive it to be. Perception is reality. Why would I release that just just seemingly makes my threat level a lot higher. I don't understand why Devins spilled the beans to everybody. He said it was to ingratiate himself with the tribe. I don't think it did that at all, boys.
I think maybe
Go ahead.
I think maybe he had someone in his alliance was pushing him to do that.
Oh, okay.
You know, because I don't know why he did it either. My thing is, the less you tell, the better, right? I mean,
100%.
unless you have to, you know.
I have the easy answer to this one.
Okay, please.
Again, let's go back to Devins' history. Did we not watch Rick Devins play this game for an entire
Right.
season and watch him
Right.
do the things that he does? Rick Devins, for lack, I think I'd like the guy a lot outside of the game. All right,
He seems
Right,
like a
he's a
cool
good
guy.
I've had
does.
beers with Rick Devins. Rick Devins is
he
a
blast?
good guy. He's a
I
fun
imagine
guy.
he's
Yeah.
a blast of a guy. So this is,
Yeah.
you know, Rick, I love you, buddy. Okay, but I'm about to say something derogatory about your son.
Oh,
Over
boy.
the head of the club. Rick Devins in the game is an arrogant, you know what? Okay. And he loves to play. I mean, you saw it even in the season with these veteran players playing it up at tribal council and giving the glares and the looks and the swagger, you know. And even tonight, doing the MrBeast thing, he's all about. Of course, I would do it. What do you think? I'm the gamer here. It's Devins plays the game that way. He likes to be, dare I say, the center of attention. Okay, maybe it's that media background. I have a media background. Hey, we don't mind being the center of attention sometimes. So I just think he likes that. He just plays to that. That's who he is. It's true to himself, and in the game, it really comes out.
You
Like I
are
said,
in the center of the screen, Lurch. I mean, and it is called the Manchild Show.
Right.
I just think he's just that way. He's just got
Okay.
that, loves to rub it, loves to
So-
rub people a little bit, even though he knows he's at risk. He doesn't care. You know?
But what about the animal in the corner, right? So he leans over to Aubrey as he's coming to the tribal. I'm about to blow this up. And he goes full scorched earth and says, hey, Stephanie and Jonathan approached me to take out Ozzy. They heard that, which spun back to him. And then Stephanie said, maybe Sari. And Sari's like, what? New information, and he just laid it all out on the line and said, I'm telling the truth. I got nothing to lose. And it seemed like to me, Ozzy said, oh, that's real. Sari's like, oh, that's real. And as soon as Sari heard all that about Steph, she was like, yeah, Steph ain't making it out of tribal tonight.
Part of it was he had some evidence. And then, you meet Stephanie, then how did he know you had the extra vote? Well, why would you, if you are her, tell him you have an extra vote unless you're trying to curry favor with him and bring him in on a vote that you're trying to get somebody on the other side. So Steph was outed. I don't know what I would have done if I was Stephanie. I mean, that was like, oh, gosh, now you got to be thinking on your feet. So take us there, Brett, because you've sat in on a bunch of tribals. You went to the end of your season. You sat on tribal after tribal after tribal. What do you do when you get outed? Were there any moments where people got outed and they had to maneuver? And, now looking back at the game, because you could reflect back and know all the things that were going on now, how do you get out of that spot? What could Steph have done?
Well, I think Steph's major mistake was going up to Sari and lying about the two people they were talking about. I think Sari saw right through that, and it was different information than what someone she trusted told her. If she had just gone up and said, listen, I'm hearing, this name and Ozzy, I think Sari would be like, I think she would have trusted her more. And I think the minute she said that, it was like big red flag for Sari, and she's like, all right, she's gonna go. So yeah, I think it's kind of, she did kind of fall on the sword for Jonathan, right? Because Jonathan came up with it, and yet everyone put it on her. So
that was
there's really not much you
insulting.
can do sometimes. This is like the rumor mill. It's like it's a witch hunt, and sometimes there's nothing you can do. You can't. There's just not enough time to get everything off of you.
Sometimes you have to lie in the game, and I would have to think really hard how I would think to try to lie to Sari to try to get past her. But to lie to her about what the plan is seems like an insulting thing to do to Sari, who's a legend of this game, and you lie to her about that simple thing, and then on top of that, Sari has already called you out earlier this season when Steph came back from a journey and says, here's what happened. Her and Sari go to water, and then, Steph says, no, that's real. And Sari's like, no, it's not. She's like, okay, no, it's not. And she folded like a cheap suit, so she can know when she's telling the truth or she's lying. And then immediately she attempts to lie again and avoids eye contact. Start going, whatever you want to do is fine. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
What about that, Brett? I mean, again, you're a cop, so this is right down Broadway for you. All right. I mean, cops learn. And probably to a certain extent, you could tell me, because I've never been through cop training, trained, so to speak, but you certainly learn it on the job as well.
BS meter.
When someone's lying to you, the signs.
That's from years of being
they
lied.
look down, they don't make eye contact. And I mean, come on, these are veteran Survivor players. Like, come on, Steph. Like, you got to be aware of what you're doing physically, especially when you're dealing with a tactician like Sari. You can't be looking all over the place. I mean, everybody could get a read that Stephanie wasn't telling her the truth. Like, putting a hand in front of her. It was like, yeah, really, man, I never really did that. Like, come on. I mean, it was just so obvious. Is that something you prepare for? Is that something you should prepare for on Survivor, Bret?
Oh yeah, definitely. You have to know your tells, and I mean, that's something that we learn on the job. You don't come out of the academy like you come out of the academy and you let guilty people go all the time because you believe them. It takes you a good year or two of being lied to every day that you finally you can read through people, and it's just a gut feeling too. Sometimes you might actually be wrong, but it's just your gut saying, "Nah, I'm not buying this," and I don't like the way they looked. Their eyes moved. Everyone has a tell when they're lying to you. And you may not know exactly what the tell is, but you see them do something, you say something's not right here.
By the way, we have 200 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe here on YouTube. Make sure you guys show your support. We are live every single Wednesday night recapping the latest of whatever happened in Survivor. For instance, tonight was a special 2-hour episode. Typically, the episodes are 90 minutes apiece. So minutes after those 90 minutes are over, so in a 9:30 situation, that would come on 9:35 or so. But tonight was a 2-hour episode, so we accommodate, and we come on a little after 10 o'clock. So we're on every single week. Hopefully, you guys can continue to join the army. And good news, folks, the bleeding has stopped, thank God. Stephanie goes home, and none of us had Stephanie. Manchild's on the ropes. He only has Joe left, which, by the way, Joe's looking pretty good. So shout out to Joe. We could get a legacy update. Bret LaBelle, our former Survivor castaway, still has Ozzy and Rizzo left, who both look phenomenal. He should feel giddy. And then Devins, thank God, his new life.
He was
on the ropes.
Walking, but now he's dead man alive
He's
again.
back, baby.
He's an idol.
And Sari continues to be in spectacular shape. So I think we all have a nice little punter's chance here. We'll see what happens.
Yes, I'm very happy with Ozzy and Rizzo. I'm titillated, Boy Green.
That's a good word. Good word.
What are your words?
I have no chance with Joe, and I'm admitting it.
So you're not titillated,
Manchild,
is what you're saying.
It's just not happening. My players did not play up to snuff, and it's a typical season for me. I genuinely know. I know, guys. Forget about the board for a minute. Take the board down for a minute.
Okay.
And let me just say this.
Okay.
If I had a vote in this cast right now, we had to vote right now, I would vote Sari the winner. I mean, she's just is dominating this game socially like it's never been dominated before. All right. But I won't lie, as I watch the show, now let me put myself in viewer mode here for a minute. Take the board out of play, okay?
All right.
I got genuinely excited when that group, before it all came apart and they just started telling everybody, okay? But when that group was first targeting Ozzy, and I was like, no, not Ozzy. Spit out Ozzy. Ozzy's the one with the idol. Sari is the target. She's the target. Now's the time. You have to get her. And they just can't get her. She's like Teflon Sari.
She's not even on the radar, Lurch. Like, that's the best part. She's not on the radar at all.
Keeps coming to her over and over. Why is nobody get a spy shack up? Somebody figure this out. Get me a cop on this show. We need somebody that's perceptive here, Bret, because they don't see the writing on the wall. She is winning this game if they don't get her out soon. They have to get her out soon.
I agree with you. But I actually liked Sari, so I would be happy if she won this. But I still think Ozzy has a shot at this, and I think Ozzy's still in this. I believe it's probably going to come down to, from what I'm seeing, Ozzy and Sari. Now, whether it's do we know if it's a 3-person finale or a 2?
We do not know. So I don't know if that was something that was voted on, but we don't know what that would be. It's been 3 for a while, so I'd be curious to see what they choose to do.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to take it away from Sari if she's in the final 2. I'll tell you that right now.
What about this? Is a good question coming in the comments. So let me just pop over here for a second, Boy Green. Sure. When do we think they start flushing idols? Seriously, Devins, Ozzy, Rizzo, all have idols now. There's only 9 people left in the game. Okay, Sari, Ozzy, and Rizzo, I agree, are looking stronger every week. I think it's going to be one of those 3, so that's right on the mark there.
And Sari has the extra vote still. She didn't end up using that tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. So,
So great comment there. Thoughts? Are they going to start flushing these idols or not, Bret? What's going on? I thought these were veteran players.
They need to. They need to. This is season 50. They got to start flushing these idols. Come on, get these people going. Put them on the ropes and get them nervous. Like, Rick Devens can't get. They're gonna have to flush that idol on him next
Because
week.
it's so public, right? He got Jeff Probst handed
Yeah.
it to him in person. So if I'm
Right.
Devins, I assume unless he tries to pull Rizzo, like and fake, he's going to use it this week and see if he can keep it alive. If I'm Devins, I'm like, I got to just flush this immediately because like they're all going to vote for me. They all know it's public. Maybe use it, get it back in the game, and I'll try to find it after. That's probably if I'm Devins, that's probably what I do.
See, I just want to see blood. I want blood, man. I felt like when it was
it's coming
to the big time
Has
people, Ozzy and then Sari, and then it even got over to Rizzo for me. I was like, yeah, any of those. Get one of those guys. Come on. Get these people. They're orchestrating the game. I want blood, Brett, and I'm not getting any blood right now. Stephanie's not blood. Last week wasn't blood. There's no blood. I want blood.
Well, blood's coming. Blood's coming. I mean, somebody's got to get taken out next week. Yeah.
Gotta come eventually. Oof.
Yeah. We're again inevitably we just have to get there. The numbers certainly speak for itself. I was trying to think of whatever the other thing we're about to get into is, but let me see.
What about those? Well, while you're thinking there for a second, what about those middle players, Brett? Again, it's just lingering in the middle, lingering. You know,
but who's going to take out? Like if you
still in, Aubrey's still in. Gosh.
But Aubrey's getting she's getting an interesting edit now. So I will say this though, what's her name there? You just said it.
Tiffany?
No. Well, yeah, Tiffany. Why are you going to take Tiffany out next? Right? There's no reason to. You need to go after somebody big. Like it's time. You know, Emily. Why would you take Emily out? Like Emily's not going to win this game. Don't waste your time on Emily right now. You know. They need to take out a heavy hitter next week.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say is Brett, if we get, let's say it's a final two, we have no idea if it's final three, final two, whatever. And it's Sari and Ozzy. Let's say they're at the end and Sari's like, hey, I trust you at the beginning. Let's ride this puppy to the end. 2 OGs, best person win. We're 2 Survivor legends. Neither of us have won the game. Like one of us is winning this game and here we go. Does Ozzy have any chance or is Sari just going to slit his throat and say, I worked him like a puppet the entire game and here I am and that's it? Or would Ozzy have any shot, do you think?
Ozzy needs to cut her before they get the final.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah. Has to happen.
Yeah.
Has to happen.
Because I think he will get some credit for, again, he even gave himself credit.
Oh, he'll get great credit. He's done a great job this
about
season.
Having more social to his game, for sure. Yeah. I know Lurch ripped him. We have a YouTube short. Shout out to Luke, our intern. We had a YouTube short earlier where Brett's, Lurch went, oh, Ozzy, man, he freaking sucks at the social game. I mean, he ripped him apart earlier.
He's not a great strategic player.
But what about this season? He aligned himself with Sari, which apparently was an intelligent move. And he even said it tonight, great self-awareness, saying, if I didn't link up with Sari, this is the night where I would have went home last time because I just wouldn't have been aware of that situation. He linked up with Sari. That is, even though she's controlling a lot of it, that was a social decision at the beginning of the game that's bared some fruit here.
Well, here's why I say what I said, and I stand behind it. And he has played better this season than any season. I will say that. So, but that's not much. That's not saying much, okay? Because he's been such a poor strategic player. He's a great Survivor player, but not a great social player and never has been. And he's not in this season, in my opinion. Better than he's ever been, but still to me, not. Because here's the thing, BG.
Okay.
All right. Yes. Brilliant to get alongside Sari right now. Okay. But if he doesn't do what Brett was just saying, he doesn't get her out at some point, particularly before we get to the end. To me, he can't beat her in final. He can't beat her. I just don't see a world. I just don't see him getting the votes. She's way too likable. Brett says it all the time. If you chat with Sari for 5 minutes, you'd be loving this woman. There's a charisma there. There's a social game. It's the reason she's been on as many times as she has been. It's the reason she's gotten really far. She just hasn't been able to win the game yet, but this might be the one. But just going back to Ozzy for a second, just to make here's why I continue to say this about Ozzy. Because Ozzy never knows what's going on. If he didn't have Sari telling him what's going on or some other people coming to him to tell him, he never knows the plan. He never knows where the direction. Like, he's lucked out. The people are like, hey, they're going after you. Most of the time, it's Sari telling him that because everyone just runs to Sari. So, again, his radar isn't good socially. Brett, do you agree or disagree with me?
Yeah, I'll agree with that to a point. I think it definitely does seem like he's getting a lot of his information from Sari. He's relying on people like her to give him some of the lowdown. I do think he is talking more than he ever has. I do think that he does have legit relationships out there. So I really like the way he's playing this season. I really
I
do.
think
And
he can win the game, but I'm
I
still not.
think if she's out, I think he does win it. I
But
really do.
here's the key to me is timing. Sarria took his so many times that if you cut her too early, let's say I'm making this up, obviously we have no idea. He cuts her next week, and then everyone's like Ozzy, and they take him out, and he won't have Sarria's presence to be there to warn him and try to persuade people. She's very influential.
No, he's not taking her out next week.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's
they're going to go after Jonathan or somebody.
I think you're right. I think you're right. But
Yeah.
if Ozzy's going to win this game, he does eventually have to get rid of Sarria. But it has to be at the moons and stars and planets have to align where he gets her out like 4-3 or something. And he gets her out and he can win his way to the final. And then he doesn't need her anymore. But if he gets rid of her too soon, if that were to happen, either she's going to find out and then slit his throat before he can to her. Or like he's going to get rid of her and then he won't have any protection to get him to the end. So yeah, it's a very fine line there.
Just a quick.
Oh, it definitely is.
A quickie on Devon's here because while I was watching the episode tonight, I was like, and then he wins the coin flip and then he gets the idol. I was like, he's back in the game. And then I was trying to say, okay, what is the world in which Rick Devens could win this game? Like what would have to happen? Who would have to be out? How would this have to go? And my quick take on that was he keeps Emily because, she's just, the donkey that you bring to the end that is not going to get votes. Okay. So he sticks in his tight alliance with Emily, which seems like it's holding. I know it's like a dam ready to freaking burst and leak because she's a leaking faucet. All right. We even saw a little of that again in the coming attractions. One is a week where we don't see Emily leaking stuff all over the place. But if he can hold that together and get her to the end, all right, I would think that actually, I don't see this happening, but my scenario was if he could align with someone like a Jonathan, who, is getting a fair amount of information, has a little bit of play with some of those players, like a Joe could be convinced sometimes, I think, by Jonathan, then maybe he could bring a Jonathan type with him. And if he went to the end with those three and they managed to knock off both Sarria and Ozzy along the way, come on, Devens could easily win this game. But
Jonathan hates Devens' guts.
I know.
And he's been burned by him multiple times and wants to get him out. So
Jonathan is about, as Bret just said, Jonathan is about to be on the outs. It's
maybe desperation,
hot.
Right?
It's
maybe
hot, and sometimes you go Devens, you go to him and say, "Listen, Jonathan, I know I did you bad here in Tribal, but all right, we can do this together, or you can get eliminated. So let's do this together." They're never going to expect after everything that's happened. This is Devens, this is the way Devens plays. After everything that's happened, there's no way they would ever suspect an alliance between the two of us, and we drag Emily to the end, and we'll go battle it out in Final Tribal. What do you think? Like, if I were him, I'd have that conversation with Jonathan or somebody like Jonathan. I think Joe's too sweet that he would get votes. I think Jonathan, I'm not sure, especially in terms of some things that could happen along the way and who Jonathan would have to do dirty, whether or not the jury would give him votes. So Devens could get himself back in favor. But of course, that would be an ending where there's no Ozzy and no Sarria in Final Tribal. That's the only way I see a path for Rick Devens. It's a long shot, but it's a path.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Bret likes it. Love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. So, we could just sort of say this. We sort of do this legacy check on a week-to-week basis. I am dead serious when I bring up this fantasy board. I think Joe has a shot. He looks like he's in a really good position right now. Ozzy and Rizzo, again, I've been drooling over this whole time. Bret nailed these two picks. They're in phenomenal position. Devens was dead in the water, but now he's got some shot. Maybe he's just a Wild Wild West cowboy out there, and he's inevitably going to perish. But at least it'll be. This was his quote from Devens tonight. I didn't know if I was going to get it during the podcast, but he said, "When I'm having fun, two things happen. I make either a good decision or a fun bad decision," which I love, and that's entertaining. So Devens, keep that up for the rest of the game. Great quote. So I think Devens is probably inevitably out, but he has new life, obviously, with everything that just happened. It's a reason phenomenal position. So I hope we each have a representative in the finals. That's the most dramatic it could be for all our viewers and listeners and everything. So I think we're all in great positions, and I hope that we have the winner amongst our midst here. And with Stephanie going home and more of these people that aren't in our group going home, that increased our odds. So
the one thing I like about Joe's edit, if I want to throw something down on Joe in a positive nature, although I still don't think he's winning this game. I appreciate all the positivity, but I don't think it's going to happen. Jeff loves to go to Joe for these sentimental moments, and Joe's the proud papa, and he's got the really great backstory. And we all saw that in his season, and now it's playing out a bit in this season as well.
The auction with the mac and cheese and playing with his kids. That was good.
He's like the go-to guy for like, let's talk family, let's talk, let's talk meaningful relationships. And there's good old Joe, and that's likable. That's likability. Everybody on that island can relate to that in some way, shape, or form, and he's a firefighter, as you mentioned. I mean, the guy has hero-esque qualities to him. And that, I think, is what keeps him as a potential guy. If he were to get into Final Tribal, there might be some convincing that he could do, because I think he's genuinely liked, and I don't think he's going to have to burn too many people along the way this thing is playing right now.
And he's a damaged bird, right? The last time he was in Survivor, he had a big fat knife in his back from the Camilla Kyle
broken wing.
He does. This is an injured bird, and I don't know what it is with people. I could speak for myself. I want to help injured birds. Like I have this affinity for there's empathy, there's all these things, and there's all the normal. Everything that Lurch just sold about Joe is all true. Plus, you throw in the broken wing, and I think that might be, with the right people around him, the good combination to make some noise. So we'll see.
And he's getting information. People are coming to him, not quite at the level of Sari, but
definitely
people
not.
are coming to him, wooing him for his vote. Joe, we'd love to have you, and let me justify. And Joe said, so tell me, right? This
like the Godfather.
Tell me what you think.
You tell me your pitch. What do you have to tell me?
I'll consider that. That's it's interesting how he's holding court in a way. It's kind of cool. Like, who is he? Who's he really aligned with? We don't even really know. But somehow Joe is kind of holding his own private court in this season of season of Survivor. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, but he seems very likable, or he wouldn't still be there. Like, I think people do like him. We're not getting a very good edit from him, but I think the last few weeks have been a lot better. We're seeing more of him. So I'm interested to see how he does and where he ends up.
All right. Well, before we put a bow on this puppy, let's give some massive props and flowers to our quarterback here, QB1, Manchild, right? He gets under center. He's about to snap the ball, and he's like, wait a second, audible, can. Wait a second, what's going on? 52's the mic. Let me call quick audible. Let's switch it. Red tuba. Okay. Brett's internet apparently wasn't working at his house. And then Lurch is like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go to the phone. Let's call. Did I catch a niner in there? Let's go phone. And guess what? It ended up working out in spectacular.
That's right. It did.
Hey,
yeah.
QB1.
Lurch. That's why you're the center square, Lurch.
I've learned everything I know about YouTube from MrBeast. Thank you, MrBeast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go.
I wouldn't have even known to tell Brett get on the phone. MrBeast is my man.
Shout out to MrBeast.
Mr. Librarian.
No, there you go.
Worked out well. Well, Brett, I hope you're taking some herbal tea and honey.
God, this has been unbelievable.
That kind of thing.
Unbelievable.
Get healthy, man.
I mean, this guy was screaming at the NFL draft.
I was he's still bothered. Yeah,
course, but you just got some kind of.
It's been going on like a couple weeks here now. This is not good.
Oh God, yeah. See a doctor for God's sakes. What's going on?
Oh yeah, I have.
Okay. All right. Well,
and they have seen me.
Oh, well, there you go.
A lot of probing, a lot of prodding, huh?
Yeah, that's it.
Prodding.
Well, shout out to everybody. I see from Fuqua Johnson to Gator McCluskey to Hep jumping in here, who's coming back from a gig late at night to our Survivor show. I love that. Or Sami Gamer, everybody that was in the comment section tonight, and the hundreds of people that are watching live and the people that watch after the fact. We appreciate you. Like the video, hit subscribe. We'll be back next Wednesday night for another Survivor recap.
All right. Brett, final thoughts? You have any? Go ahead. Lay it on us.
We're getting down there now. We're getting to the nitty gritty. This is going to get interesting. And I agree with you, Lurch. We need to see blood. I want to see blood. And I want to see it next week.
Blood. Next week, I'm wearing red. All right? Red.
Wow.
I'm wearing red next week. That's a deal. I'm wearing red next week. It better be blood in the water.
I'm with you, bud. I'm with you.
Blood in the water. I see what you did there, Lurch. Perhaps a future blood versus water, we get that back in the 50s. Bring it back. I love it. There we go.
All right, BG, final thoughts? Have anything?
Man, I said it in a YouTube short that I'm not sure if it dropped yet or it'll drop later. It's evergreen, so it won't matter. But, I'm the guy who comes up with the headlines, right? Tonight's Survivor 50, Episode 10, recap, Survivor auction, MrBeast Super Beware Advantage. And I've come up with the headlines each week. And if you tune into the show, earlier in the day, all you see is Survivor 50 episode 10 recap, but it has nothing else in it because obviously I don't know what happened. I haven't seen the episode yet. And I said it last week and I will say it again. I am not struggling to find topics because there's always something interesting, whether we love it or hate it. Survivor Auction, phenomenal. MrBeast Super Beware Advantage, it's up to everyone in the audience to debate what they want. But each week I have multiple things to choose from, a rivalry between two Survivor castaways or what have you. So we've had plenty of material. The Survivor 50 season has lived up to the hype, and hopefully it ends strong. We got a couple episodes left.
Yeah. All right. Brett, thanks as always. Audience, thanks as always. Again, back next week, same bat time, same bat time. Actually, half hour earlier next week. So it'll be a regular 90-minute, but right after the episode. That's what I mean by that. So we will see you all next week. Again, don't forget to like the video on the way out if you haven't already. And if you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free, and you'll always know what we're up to. So hit that subscribe and help us grow our little community. All right, we'll see you next week, folks. Peace out. Take care.